Welcome back to our program. You're watching Morning Thailand with Tulip and Golf. And of course, like I said, a lot more updates in terms of the incident that happens. And of course, unfortunately, it has turned violent. At this point, several sectors are very worried about it. The situation, one of the important, of course, industry that has been affected by this particular incident is, of course, tourism industry. And yesterday there has been an announcement, a joining of almost like a network of the private sector that came out talking about this particular case and worried about the raised a lot of concerns in terms of tourism industry that has been affected. And of course, this particular organizations, including the Thai Chamber of Commerce, as well as several tourism private sectors industry. Now they say that in this particular case, the concern was raised and it was announced yesterday at Dusit Thani Hotel by 7 institutions altogether that related to that within the private sector itself, talking about the fact that at this point, due to the violent pictures that has been out in the open by several medias inside and outside of the country that pretty much came in to cover the story, they say that this create quite a bit of a problem in terms of the tourism industry and creating and pretty much scared a lot of tourists. They say that at this point there has been a report already that measured from the numbers of tourists passing through the Suvarnabhumi airport in the beginning of November to December. They say that normally there would be about 50,000 per day. At this point is down to about 4.9 or 49,000, excuse me, per day. So they say that this create quite a bit of concern because they believe that it might even going down even further. So this is one of the issue that is raised. Now another issue that is raised is the fact that at this point a lot of luckily a lot of tourists that came into the area still that make it sounds like it's still quite a bit of numbers of tourists that come into the country is the fact that at this point a lot of tourists pretty much trying to move into another province right away, the destination, tourist destination, for example, in Chiang Mai, as well as down south, instead of actually staying in Bangkok or passing through. However, this still create quite a bit of a loss for tourism industry, so that's create quite a bit of a problem. Now they say that at this point they raised 4 requests altogether in terms of trying to find a way for or at least a solution for the country, because at this point it's in the deadlock and it create quite a bit of a problem. Now the industry, including like I said, the Thai Chamber of Commerce, the Federal of Thai Industry or the FTI, Thai Bankers Association, Tourism Council of Thailand, Federation of Thai Capital Market Organizations, Stock Exchange of Thailand, and the Thai Listed Companies Association also talked about this, saying that they are requesting at least 3 main points that could have been done. Now, one of the things is they're talking about the fact that the private sector is ready to find a way out for every, or at least talk to all sectors to make sure that we find a solution for Thailand. However, it still has to base on law. So that was one of the things that they pressed. The second one is they would like to request negotiation instead of using violence and requested that everyone actually respect rule of laws instead of doing anything according to what they would like to do. Now, the third one would be the fact that they are not agree with whatever happened right now and they are opposed the situation that creating quite a bit of a nuisance to the rest of the society. The fourth one is they say that once again press on the fact that there has to be according by the rules and law and such, because they say that they still believe that anything that would be done should lead back to the election system still and not stay away from that. So at this point they say that this particular incident create the situation that a lot of the countries actually see us as a failed state, and that create quite a bit of a loss, including quite a bit of a loss in terms of the high season that is coming on this particular month, actually on December, they say that they believe that the tourists will probably decline by 8 to 10%. And that could create about 25 billion baht or 2.5 billion baht loss to Thai tourism industry. And a lot of investors are actually or at least too scared to invest in Thailand. And that's create quite a bit of a problem as well. So economic growth, instead of reaching 5% as projected at this point, they say that it's probably might be around 2 and not even make it to 3% growth. So that was one of the problems that they are worrying about, apart from the fact that there's some people killed already as well. So this is what affects the tourism industry at this point. So they are very concerned in terms of the private sector came out and talk about their stance.
And in relation to that, a lot of countries has issued warning or alert about the travelers coming into Thailand. So yesterday, the Foreign Affairs Ministry also held briefing to 60 countries, and one of the diplomats that attend the meeting was Her Excellency Christy Kenny. That she actually tweets a little bit about the meeting, that she said that Mr. Surapong Towichakchaikul, the Foreign Affairs Minister, said that they have exercised utmost restraint and comply with international law enforcement and standards, and his government was a democratically elected government under the Constitution. And beside that, in the news report said that he made a call during the briefing about the ongoing protest to all the ambassadors and diplomats and attaché about this incident that is happening in Thailand, that right now the Foreign Affairs Ministry office is temporarily closed, and the officials are unable to work at their usual premises because it was occupied by the demonstrators. But he said that the unrest that was happening right now is a domestic affair, but he still expected support from other countries. He said that Pheu Thai-led government faced the same fate as the previous administration. He referred back to the Samak Sunthorawet and Somchai Wongsavat administration, that there were also demonstrations happen during those times. He said that he hoped that the diplomats would make their stance for democracy clearly known, and he hoped that the United Nations bodies and agencies could make a similar show of support, especially in light of relevant conventions and international laws. And Mr. Surapong said that the government has refrained from the use of force and exercised utmost restraint and is determined to resolve the situation by peaceful means, but that was in the statement. And actually you can find a full statement itself on the website of the Foreign Affairs Ministry. Just go to mfa.go.th and select in English language. They have the full the whole full press conference, the full statement posted on the website, what he has said to the diplomats himself.
I think like 37 or so ambassadors actually attended this particular briefing themselves. That showed the
concern.
Exactly. And I'm pretty sure that afterward they probably has a lot of questions for the foreign minister as well.
Because normally when the Foreign Affairs Ministry hold the briefing or press conference and such, most of the time the embassy would just send their representative of attaché. But this is obviously a big concern for a lot of people. At the end of the statement, he promised that he will keep all the diplomats informed of the development, and he would like to assure that this pressing situation will be fully discharged. And he said that on the final note, the prime minister, so he told the diplomats before he hold the press conference himself with Kapo that he actually will be assigned to oversee Kapo himself or the Center for Administration of Peace and Order.
Right.
So he just told diplomats to follow the announcement of Kapo closely. And that's also one of the reasons that Deputy Prachapom Nok and the government said that the Mr. Surapong has been assigned to oversee Kapo because he have to
Answer.
answer
Right.
a lot of questions to the foreign countries, to the foreigners. So they see that it's fit more for him to be the head of Kapo at the moment instead
Right.
of the Deputy Prime Minister Prachapom Nok.
Very interesting indeed. Now, moving on to, of course, the clash that took place, which led to obviously the announcement that we should not leave the house after 10 p.m. Now, it's happened in front of Ramkhamhaeng University. Of course, this is not far from the Rachamankala Stadium, which is where the Rachers were gathering
Actually, the
over
back
the weekends.
gate of the university next to Rachamankala Stadium.
So that's why it's created quite a bit of attention because obviously there's a report that a lot of Ramkhamhaeng University students were opposing the Rachers or the government itself. So when there's a gathering that close to the university, a lot of people that are actually opposing the government to begin with, I guess, decided to gather and show their opposition. However, it's probably not done in a very non-violent way because there has been several reports of where the Red Shirt supporters who were in the cab or on the bus or, walking there, if they wear red shirts.
They
got assaulted. They either, some of them was requested or, well, not requested, were forced to take out their shirt. And the red shirt, and the students were burning the shirt itself. So that was, you can actually be opposing certain things, but I think restraint for violence at this point. Another thing was that there's a report of obviously at this point fire, gunshots that were fired and led up to the killing of a few people at this point. One person though was killed. The remains, this is one of the shocking things, was that the remains was found. This is on the 30th of November, which is the violence continue until the 1st of December over the weekends. And they say that the remains of the burnt
there was
body.
a bus that was caught on fire in front of the Rachamankala, right? And at the end of the day, after fire was distinguished.
The remain was found.
Right.
Exactly. This is so the remains was actually, the burnt remain was found because they say that the reporter were quite shocked. A lot of people actually took the picture of the remains itself because the bus was caught on fire due to this particular violence that took place. And they say that there were also, at the time after the incident died down, several of the bullets bullet shells were scattered as well. Now, the police believe, however, that the burnt body that was found, or the remains that was found inside the bus, which by the time the police got there, it was just the bones remaining. You cannot even make out who it was. The police said that they believe that this particular person was probably just kind of got caught in a scene, get into the bus, and the bus was on fire, trying to get out of the bus. And they say that the spot where he fell down is actually on the floor of the bus, and he probably got killed due to the fact that he could not breathe and could not leave the scene. Now, at this point, one person has already went into the area and claimed that might have been her son. Kun Naramon Kampayak, age 36, said that it could have been her son, age 17, Suradet Kampangchai, who was missing from the house because Kun Suradet's friend actually said that she called Kun Suradet on the 1st of December at about noon, and Kun Suradet said that he's going to go find something to eat in front of the Ramkhamhaeng University. And she said that when at 2:30 he called her back and told her that he got caught in all this commotion. And she said that she could hear the gunfire as well as explosion sporadically. So she said that afterward he hung up and she could not contact him again. At this point, the police has already took the DNA of Kun Suradet and see whether or not it's going to match the body itself. So we're probably going to see that later on. However, there also a talk of the Kun Tawisak Pokao who was killed at the back of Ramkhamhaeng University as well. They say that there was a gunshot fired. Now, Kun Chat Chai Dam Prasong, another university students, Ramkhamhaeng University students who got shot as well in the right leg, said to the police and showed the police that they were actually him and the victims were actually walked from the university to actually guarding the other students. However, he said that the victim actually walked in front of him, and not far from the phone booth, he said that there was a fire that came out and shot this particular person, or Kun Chat Chai, and Kun Tawisak Pokao, and caused him to drop. And when the Kun Chat Chai got there, he have seen that the victim has already passed away. Now, the police also went to the phone booth itself and see a shell, .11 millimeter shell in place. So they'd say that it's probably the cause of the death, as well as one of the soldier, Thanasit Viengkam, age 22, he was shot in the head as well on the 2nd of December. Another person was Wirot Khemnak. He's a Red Shirt supporter. They say that they have found that he actually was shot as well, because they say that they were standing at the time and all of a sudden Kun Wirot just dropped and they realized that he was shot, because due to the fact that there's a lot of loud noises at the time, so people not really realize what has going on. So at this point, 4 deaths already has been reported at this point. So the police is still looking for further, I guess, more details in terms of what has happened. But this is the incident that took place in front of the or around the Ramkhamhaeng area, and that particular scene is still has been worn off. Like a lot of people, you're warned not to get into the area. It's created quite a bit of a stir because, of course, the dean of Ramkhamhaeng Hospital also talked about it as well. Because at the time, 3,000, I believe, of the students were stuck in the university. They're trying to get out. They could not. There's a lot of gunfire that has been firing, and they could not get out. And finally, the soldiers, the troop, has to get in and take them out to another spot. So at this point, the police not even sure what is going on, because we're still not having like the full information. Everything happens so fast.
They said it's under investigation, and I believe most of the students taking shelters at Ramanai Temple, organized by the BMA office. Some of them went home. So if you know some of them and unable to contact them, maybe you can go to see whether they're there or give a phone call to Ramanai Temple.
So at this point, be very careful. If you can avoid the area, please do so, because the investigation is still ongoing, and the fact that police is out there right now, I don't think anyone would have that much time to investigate the case to begin with. So be very, very careful.
So we're going to take a short break. When we'll come back, we'll give you an update or the summary of the protesters, the demonstration that has been going on over the weekend, and what might happen or where they're going to go today.
Please stay tuned.